Hey everyone, happy Sunday. It's Sunday Fun Day. I'm Joe here on Sports Grid TV. It's time for Puck It with Joe. We got 5 games on the ice, and I know there's so much going on in the NFL and so much action there, but still a couple opportunities to make some money on the ice. I think there's some underdogs definitely barking today, and we're going to make some money. I've got some player props as well, so stick around. Now, we had a weird day on the ice. The Montreal Canadiens definitely made us money. The Arizona Coyotes, the St. Louis Blues. I wish I had taken the Louis Blues on that money line, took them plus the 1.5, but those goal props did come in nicely. So we're going to make some more money today. We've got those 5 games. So let's jump straight to it, you guys, and get you back to watching some football. This Colts game versus the Patriots. Well, hopefully you took the under. Let's look at the first game here. All odds over on FanDuel with the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, the Chicago Blackhawks come in as a huge dog at plus 235 after getting the win the last time these two teams faced up. The Florida Panthers minus 285, total 6.5. Juice to that over at minus 120. Looking at this matchup here, Bobrovsky is expected in goal this time. Now, the last time that they matched up, it wasn't Bobrovsky, it was Stola's in net for the Florida Panthers. Bobrovsky, a different animal here. He's so fantastic in goal. He's got a 2.65 goals against average, save percentage of 0.907. Sonderblom expected here for the Chicago Blackhawks. Last time it was Peter Maretz. Peter Maretz in the last game, absolutely phenomenal. He was the difference maker for the Chicago Blackhawks. He saved 38 of 40 shots on goal. So the Panthers just came at him. They were unable to find the back of his net, only finding it twice. I'm looking at this one for the Florida Panthers to come out strong to start this game. They know they can't get down to the Chicago Blackhawks. This last game, there was 3 goals by the Chicago Blackhawks in that first period. I expect the Florida Panthers to win the first period. You know, we've been riding them on that puck line or the money line in the first period when they're dogs. On the puck line today as a favorite, laying the half a goal, they're coming in at minus 108. That is the best value I can find on this game other than goalie props. I do think they come out straight out of the gate at home, hit Sonderblom quick. Now, Sonderblom has a 3.96 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.883. We look at the weak power play here for the Chicago Blackhawks. They have a lack of face-off ability. They're not able to win these face-offs. So I'm looking for the Florida Panthers really to control that area. Matthew Tkachuk for the anytime goal. We saw him in the last game get one of those goals. For the anytime goal, he's coming in at plus 110. I also like Sam Reinhart. We know how strong Sam Reinhart has been for the Florida Panthers. He's coming in at plus 105. Now, we can't count out Connor Bedard. He's been absolutely phenomenal for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm riding him every single game for that anytime goal because he really is making us money even when we bet him every single game. It's not a hit and a miss. He's hitting on every couple of games. So plus 185, the book's still giving us so much value on Connor Bedard. The Panthers were a $2 favorite last time in that loss, but I don't think that they lose this one again. I would look for this game to go over more for the Florida Panthers. You can look at the Florida Panthers team total. We know at home they'd be scoring 3 or more goals so far this season. This team so strong at getting those shots on goal, averaging 34.4 shots on goal per game and 3.08 goals per game. And they will control this face-off. They're limited this season in taking penalties, which is outstanding for this club. We know how hot-headed this team can be and how hot-headed they were last season, but minimal penalty minutes here in this one. So that's what I'm liking. Good morning to all of you guys. I also do NFL, college football, not just NHL. So make sure you go over to Sports Grid TV and check out all of my content. I do have a bet out in the Seattle Seahawks Washington Commanders game that is up on social. So check that out, you guys. Okay, the next game on the board with the Dallas Stars taking on the Minnesota Wild. Dallas rolling in here at minus 115, the Minnesota Wild at minus 104. Now, total 6.5, juice to that under at minus 142. I don't want to bet an under at minus 142, especially with the Minnesota Wild's defense. I am terrified of this defense and what they have been allowing that 3.93 goals per game. The shots on goal of 31.9, and they've got one of the worst penalty kills, second to The Sharks, their penalty kill is only at 68.2%, 31st in the league. Like I said, the Sharks are the worst. Against the Dallas Stars with Jake Ottinger in net. Jake Ottinger, phenomenally strong goalie. Now, Gustafsson is expected for the Wild, and I do like Gustafsson. His numbers just aren't a clear reflection of how strong of a goalie he is because he's not getting that support from his defense. He's got a 4.64 goals against average save percentage of 0.872. But this Stars team, with how strong their defense is, the Stars should limit the Minnesota Wild in this game. And yeah, they're in a tough spot. They're on the second night of a back-to-back here. They got the win yesterday over the Winnipeg Jets. But I still think they're the stronger team, even on the back-to-back. The Wild have been playing a lot of games as well. So they are in a 3-game in 4-day situation, which they're 0-5 in. So tired legs on both sides, but I do count on the defense here of the Dallas Stars. This is a defense that's only allowing 2.45 goals per game, 5th overall in the league. They've got the best kill right now at 93.2%. They are allowing 33.1 shots on goal per game, but Jake Ottinger, phenomenally strong, 2.10 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.933. I'm going to take the Stars here. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings, minus 115 on the money line. This is the last game of a road trip. They've won their last 2 games. I think they finish up this road trip 3-0. Rupe Hintz, someone to look at here for the anytime goal. That's coming in at plus 180 for the Dallas Stars. Rupe Hintz has been phenomenal this season, 5 goals and 6 assists. Now, I can't find on FanDuel right now those assists. We're just not getting that on this game. So Rupe Hintz, though, in his career versus the Minnesota Wild, has 7 goals, 8 assists in 16 games. So those assists and the goal, I do think value on both of those. If you can get points on your book, you could look at that as well, as long as you're not laying too much juice. But that anytime goal at plus 180. The Minnesota Wild's team total, I'm flirting with taking. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of money on it because it's plus money. Under 2.5 for the Minnesota Wild here, coming in at plus 130. I do think it's a nice way to look at this game instead of looking at the full game to the under. Because again, I worry about the Wild's defense and what they're going to be able to do shutting down the Stars. Now, realistically, because this is a back-to-back for the Stars, I expect them to just play a solid defensive game, not really push it offensively, but they could against this defense here of the Wild. So off the full game total, would look at the under 2.5. Well, I am looking at the under 2.5 for the Minnesota Wild. That at plus 130, I can't say no. The under has hit in 6 of the last 9 meetings, and 1 has been a push, and 3 of the last 5 in Minnesota, with 1 again being a push of that number. But this total sitting at 6.5. The next game on the board, you guys, just checking current odds here. Over at FanDuel, we have the Vancouver Canucks on a back-to-back, minus 176, rolling in to take on the Montreal Canadiens on a back-to-back at plus 146. We made money on the Montreal Canadiens yesterday versus the Boston Bruins. I thought that bet was dead in the water when it went to overtime. The Boston Bruins got up fast in that game, and if you joined me on In-Game Live last night, overtime, I said right there and then, you have to take the Montreal Canadiens. And I told you guys yesterday, when they fall down, plus whatever that is on the puck line, we were able to grab them plus the 2.5. I also sprinkled again on that money line because I did believe in this team. I believe it was right around plus 420. So many bets last night that we were on. Montreal came back, and I did think it was dead in the water going to OT. But for them to beat the Boston Bruins in overtime last night was so impressive. This young and fiery team never gives up out there on the ice. Now they take on the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks have struggled in Montreal. Huge warning bells going off for me looking at how they played in Montreal. And this is a different Canucks team. This Canucks team, I have so much more faith in than I did in the team last season and the season before. So when we look at the stats, we have to weigh into effect that this team really has stepped up this season. Now they are 3-10 in their last 13 in Montreal. 10-22 in the last 32 meetings versus Montreal. The value is on the Montreal Canadiens today with Jake Allen in net. Casey DeSmith in net for the Vancouver Canucks. I'm going to have faith again in the Montreal Canadiens. I know they're off a huge win. I know they're on the back-to-back, but Vancouver's on the back-to-back as well. They lost last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They didn't get over the 3.5 goals versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know, you look at this, Calgary was able to put up more goals versus Toronto. Toronto's defense is poor. Now, Montreal, with their not give up mentality, I think Vancouver could go up in the first period. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 at -138. I'm also going to take both teams to score at +160. I wouldn't be shocked if this was a 2-1 first period here for the Vancouver Canucks. When we see that sort of situation, if we see a nice puck line there for the Montreal Canadiens, if you don't want to have faith in them to start this game, that's where you jump on. And I'm going to be watching to see if we can get some more value on that money line again for the Montreal Canadiens to come back. And it is putting a lot of faith on this team, but I do think they're a team that I'm willing to back at the moment. Montreal's team total, if you're a little worried, you can look at that over 2.5. That's coming in at -146. I like them straight up on the money line. The value on that puck line really isn't there, +1.5 at -162. So it just depends on where you have a faith. Now I'm seeing those comments come in. Can you see a ton of goals? Casey DeSmith. Yeah, Casey DeSmith. I don't trust as much Casey DeSmith, though. He still has a strong number there, Joe. He's got a 2.82 goals against average and a 0.911 save percentage. But this Montreal Canadiens team, there's something about them, how they're able to dig deep in these games. I do have faith in Jake Allen. Jake Allen has been strong for them. He's got a 3.35 goals against average and a 0.910 save percentage. I would take this one to the over, though. We see these trends going to the over. We know the Canucks off that loss. This team's so strong offensively, averaging 4.36 goals per game, first overall in the league, the third best power play. Montreal needs to stay out of the box. If Montreal's in the box, the Vancouver Canucks are going to run away with this game with the ability of this team to be able to score. Now, goal scorers here, Pettersson for the Vancouver Canucks. He's been an absolutely moneymaker for us. He's coming in at +150. Quinn Hughes, I have to throw every single game a little bit of money on Quinn Hughes for that anytime goal. Defenseman here, we know the Hughes brothers across the league are blowing things up. He's had 16 assists and in 15 games versus the Montreal Canadiens. He's yet to record a goal versus Montreal, but that goal coming in at +360. Again, over on FanDuel, I'm not seeing any assist bets here, but if you can get the assists on your book, I definitely look at him for the point, the assist, or the goal, definitely coming in today. And the over 6.5, Cole Caulfield here, you've got to look for Montreal. So Montreal's had a couple really hard games, but fantastic wins. They got the win over the Boston Bruins, and they got the overtime win versus the Detroit Red Wings. I guess this isn't a team I should be questioning in OT, but I get a little worried. But Cole Caulfield in that game versus the Red Wings scored that goal within 15 seconds. He's been phenomenally strong this season. You can take him for the anytime goal at +135. Guys, so much ability to make money, especially on these player props. I couldn't believe when I put in all my player props today. Okay, the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the New York Rangers. +198. If you think there's an upset happening in the Garden tonight, it's so hard to go against the New York Rangers at home. They're -245 here. Huge favorites at home. Total 6.5, -110 to the over and under. If you think the Columbus Blue Jackets can keep it tight, the +1.5 coming in at -120. And if you think the New York Rangers get the huge blowout, -1.5 at +100 currently over on FanDuel. I am terrified of this goalie matchup. We've got Elvis and net for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You guys know my thoughts on Elvis. I think Elvis is a loose cannon waiting to go off. On the other side of the puck, we have Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick gave me panic attacks last season when he came out for the LA Kings. He was that goalie that, I couldn't trust him. Looking at his numbers so far this season with the support he gets from the defense here at the New York Rangers, phenomenal numbers. But how long can this last? He's got a 1.77 goals against average. Top goalie in the league right now with a 0.935 save percentage. Can we trust him for this to continue? I don't know. Elvis coming in with a 3.21 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.987. The Rangers, so strong on the power play. Second best power play at 35.7%. They dominate the faceoffs, high shooting percentage. They allow only 2.08 goals per game, which is second overall in the league. Or second best overall at limiting opponents' ability to get those shots, which Jonathan Quick needs at 27.4. Their kill is fourth in the league at 86.4%. This team has absolutely everything going for them in this matchup. The kill here of the Columbus Blue Jackets is actually stronger than the New York Rangers at 88.4%. This team has lost their last 4 games. Wow. the New York Rangers have won their last two over the Wild and the Red Wings. The last time these two teams matched up back in mid-October, the Columbus Blue Jackets actually won this one 5-3. Second night of a back-to-back here for them. I don't know, you guys. They lost yesterday to the Red Wings 5-4. I think the puck line here for the Columbus Blue Jackets makes sense to me, even though the Rangers are such a dominant team overall. This is the last home game here for the New York Rangers. They're off after this game till next Saturday. And this is where I'm kind of concerned. Are the Rangers just ready to have a little bit of a break? They have the Devils, the Stars, and the Pens, then the Flyers before returning home next Saturday to face the Boston Bruins. So looking ahead at their schedule, if they're in a look-ahead situation where they're ready for a couple days off, they know they've got a road trip, and they know they're returning home to face the Bruins in the next game, if they're getting ahead of themselves at all, how dominant this team is, I think the Columbus Blue Jackets could keep this one tight. So they're 5-1 on the puck line on the road this season. Columbus has been phenomenally strong. So I'm going to grab them plus the 1.5 at current odds on that one, plus the 1.5 at minus 120. It was minus 118 earlier today. Anytime goal here, Bonjenner, he had a hat trick in the last game versus the Rangers. We're getting such value. Now they're going to be all over Bonjenner, trying to limit him in this one, but I still do like that value we're getting on Bonjenner for the anytime goal plus 240 when he did have the hat trick versus the Rangers. Elvis has to absolutely bounce back in this game. Now, the last time we saw Elvis out there on the ice, he was yanked versus the Florida Panthers after allowing three goals on 10 shots on goal. So Elvis needs to come out really strong in this matchup. Otherwise, this bet is completely dead. So you got to have a little bit of faith in Elvis. Like I said, Elvis scares me. Jonathan Quick scares me. Give me the puck line here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Okay, the last game. Ooh, you guys, this is an ugly, ugly, ugly game. Rangers, Ben coming in here might be worth. Yeah, Adam Fox still out. It's a hard one here for the New York Rangers with Adam Fox out, especially with Jonathan Quick in goal. I am a little scared with Jonathan Quick. I'm not going to lie. He's not a goalie that I have a lot of faith in. So we'll see what happens with that game. It's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, so hard for these teams to go into the Garden. The Rangers so strong at home, but I think Columbus can keep it tight. Last game, ugly one. The San Jose Sharks taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Now the Ducks, almost a $2 favorite. This team has been doing way better than we all expected this season. Plus 162 for the San Jose Sharks. Total 6.5, minus 115 to that under. Mackenzie Blackwood expected here for the San Jose Sharks, and John Gibson expected for the Anaheim Ducks. Now, you look at the Sharks record, you guys. They haven't won a road game yet this season. They've only got wins over the Edmonton Oilers, which, that was joyful, and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Colts did win over the Patriots 10-6, you guys. A low-scoring game. Hope you took that one to the under. Jonathan Taylor got the touchdown. Cashed us some money. Anyway, back to the hockey game. Mackenzie Blackwood has been a sieve in a lot of these games. John Gibson has been standing on his head. The Sharks, 32nd overall in all of their stats, basically. This is the worst team in the league, recording 2 wins. Can they get the win here over the Anaheim Ducks? Yes, they absolutely could get the win here over the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks are not a team that I really believe in, and I wonder if they're in a little bit of a look ahead. They've lost their last 2 games. This is their last home game here. And then I think they've been at home for the last 5. So last game at home, they got a hard schedule starting on Tuesday. 2 road games, the Predators and then the Colorado Avalanche. The underdog has taken 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two. Yes, and the Ducks coming in on 1 day's rest. They should be able to come out strong. But I do think this is one of those games where maybe they look past the Sharks. The Sharks off that shutout loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, with this team. A little bit of a spark after getting those 2 wins versus the Oilers and the Flyers the game before. I think we could see them play a hard game here. I like the Sharks plus the 1.5. Plus the 1.5 for the San Jose Sharks is coming in at minus 146, so it's juicy, but plus 162. Sprinkle on that money line as well. If I'm looking for goal scorers, here for the San Jose Sharks. Hurdle coming out for the goal is plus 170. He's recorded 2 goals and 9 points for the Sharks so far this season. Then if we look at Carlson here, Leo Carlson for the Ducks, plus 210 for the anytime goal. He's being strong. 6 goals, 1 assist. He's off that hat trick versus the Flyers. 5 shots on goal in that one. So I think he's someone to look at, and there's the value. I don't love the Sharks and the Ducks game. I think this one is going to be an ugly game. I would love to see the Columbus Blue Jackets upset the Rangers. I think it's a great way to go. So plus the 1.5, you can sprinkle on that money line. It's just so hard to go in and beat the Rangers in the Garden. If this one was in Columbus, I'd love it. Jonathan Quick again. We keep going back to Quick. I can't trust him. So Quick, save shots on goal if he is in net. Now, always make sure those goalies are what we expect, and this is crucial. Yesterday, I took the LA Kings. I told you to take the Kings. We thought Cal Peterson was going to be in net. Well, it wasn't Cal Peterson in net for the LA Kings, or for who did they play last night? I am drawing a complete blank. Yesterday, the Kings played and they lost to the Flyers. Cal Peterson expected. Carter Hart was who went in net. Carter Hart, as soon as he was announced in net, I just felt sick. I knew that bet was done in the water because Carter Hart's been absolutely phenomenal. He's been off with illness and with injury. Cal Peterson had played with the Kings. He allowed 5 goals in the last time those teams had matched up. So I was counting on the first period over 1.5 because of Cal Peterson. I was counting on the game over 6.5 because of Cal Peterson, and the Kings to get the win because of Cal Peterson. Well, then Carter Hart was in net. So the Flyers won that one, 4-2? Yeah, 4-2 win. Yesterday, the Edmonton Oilers came out and actually scored some goals. 4 goals in the first period, leading to a 4-1 win over the Seattle Kraken. But we did catch the Arizona Coyotes. They got the 7-5 win over the Predators. What else? Oh, the Pittsburgh Penguins. We got a nice big win there. Them covering that puck line versus the Buffalo Sabres. Toronto had a fantastic win. The Lightning didn't show up. Montreal got a nice big win for us as well. So interesting day out there on the ice yesterday, but lots of opportunities to make some money today. You guys make sure you go over and check out SportsGrid TV for all of my bets in the NFL today. I'm going to be putting out a video right away with a lot of prop bets that I'm liking. There's also a video out right now for that Seattle Seahawks game versus the Washington Commanders and what I'm liking in that. CFL next weekend, Grey Cup. Man, was I wrong about the Grey Cup. I thought it would be Toronto and BC. Well, Toronto lost yesterday to Montreal, and Winnipeg blew out again the BC Lions. So the 2 teams I thought would be in the Grey Cup are out. So now we have Montreal and Winnipeg. Winnipeg is going to run away with it. And the one team that I was fading yesterday. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice today. Best of luck. Go give SportsGrid TV a follow on all social media. Bye.